Hey, I'm super excited to be here with the lead author of the best-selling book in the world on strategy and execution, The Four Disciplines of Execution, Chris McChesney. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me, Chris. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed our conversations up till now, and I'm really looking forward to today.
Thanks, Dave. I've had a great time getting to know you and learning about BNI, and I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we're super excited. You're going to be joining us in Madrid this November for what has been called the world's best networking event, the BNI Global Convention. And you're joining us as one of our keynote speakers to share your world-renowned insights on execution in business and in life. Chris, I just want to ask you one question. Why is execution such a huge issue?
Right? It is a huge issue.
Right.
I got thinking about it. It's the one problem leaders are not okay with, right? It's the one thing you think we ought to be able to control this, right? My customers are doing things I can't anticipate. I got supply chain issues. I can't predict the economy, but please, people, we can execute. But a lot of times what you don't realize is that any new strategy or objective that you have to execute on is going to require a change in human behavior. And that's always more difficult than we think it ought to be, even when it's incredibly logical and incredibly important. Leaders think, oh, if I could just get them to understand how important this is. But what we don't realize sometimes is that that new behavior, those new activities are competing every day with all the little urgencies that have to be done just to keep the existing operation going, right? And the way it feels, unfortunately, to a lot of us, is that everyone's as busy as they can be, and yet weeks are going by and we're not getting any closer to that critical goal. And I think that's incredibly relatable for most leaders.
Yeah, and you talk about it in the book, and I've always been a big fan. Look, the whirlwind, you could fill up the whirlwind all day. And I think, as you and I've talked about, and certainly you know way more about than I do, is that focus and discipline of focus and execution is just so important. And Chris, you and others at Franklin Covey have done significant research around this strategy and planning. And you found, 80% of all strategic initiatives fail.
Well, and it's not just us. So over 20 years, it's interesting. Every couple of years, some major study is done on percent of initiatives that succeed, or, success of strategic execution. The words are always different, but it's always the same question. And the answer is always the same as well. There's about an 80% mortality rate on significant new strategic objectives. And it rarely has to do with the validity of the strategy. The problem is almost always execution.
So said a little bit differently, if companies are able to develop a capability to consistently execute, they're essentially creating their own ultimate competitive advantage to those who don't.
No question about it. Organizations that have developed the capacity to put energy against non-urgent, right, non-immediate strategic priorities. That's a rare thing, and you're absolutely right. That is a unique competitive advantage. It's as simple as it sounds. It's a powerful competitive advantage.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thanks for spending some time with me today. We all certainly look forward, me in particular, to hearing more from you at our global convention in Madrid coming up in November. Appreciate it. Super excited to have you, and we will see you in Madrid.
Thanks for inviting me. Look forward to seeing everyone.